Hi everyone, welcome back to BB's Customs, episode 21 of the Honda cb250 build, and today has not gone as planned. Okay, so I know last week I said the goal this weekend was to get the bike up and running. There were a few little bits of tinkering I had to do before that to allow me to do this, just some little odds and ends that needed tidying up. One of which was replace the two gaskets on the left hand side of the engine behind the flywheel and the generator, but I've had a bit of an issue trying to get those off. So the problem I'm having is trying to get this nut off of here. This is the nut which locks the flywheel on, so this is on a taper which goes onto a tapered shaft through the engine, and then this nut stops it coming back off again. The problem is trying to undo that. If you put a socket or something on here and you turn it, the whole thing moves. So you can't get any purchase on there in order to actually take it off. Now I've tried a few different things. So far what I've done is I've put a piece of wood through the back wheel to lock that up and tried to use the drive system to lock up the engine to let me take that nut off. Unfortunately, as it turns out, the clutch isn't the best, so when you get a full bit of force on there to undo that, the clutch slips, which means I can't get the nut off. What else did I try? I was looking on YouTube and I found this one guy who was also having a similar problem to me as for this, and the way he solved it, which I'm a bit unconvinced really as to whether it's so. I had a go, but yeah, I'm not really too fond of it. But what he suggested was taking one of the spark plugs out. So I've taken that out of this cylinder here, turning the engine so that it gets onto a compression stroke, and then filling the combustion chamber through the spark plug hole with shoelaces. No, I didn't have any shoelaces because my shoes don't have laces. So I used the cord from my hoodie, which is now wrecked. My other ass going to tell me off. So the idea is, as the piston's coming up inside the cylinder, it can't complete its stroke because the space it needs is taken up by all the laces which are in there. Now, either I did something wrong, or I suspect I didn't have enough lace to fill the whole combustion chamber. So when I turned it, you could feel it hitting the resistance, but it just squashed it up enough that it could turn, and then that didn't work either. I got online and looked up the proper Honda tool for it, and that comes in at the paltry sum of about 400 euros to get the actual tool required according to the manual to take that off. So yeah, that's not gonna happen. Then I found this thing on eBay, a universal flywheel clamp / holder, and what that does is it's a big U-shaped clamp which goes around one side, and then on the other side there's a threaded bar that comes up with sort of like a C-section clamp on there to hold this all the way round, and then I'm going to turn the engine until it hits, I'm hoping it'll hit the foot peg before it hits the gear lever. If I take that off, before it hits the shifter here, I want it to hit the footrest because it's just firmer. I don't want to put any stress onto this, and then hopefully that will hold the flywheel tight enough that I can get that nut undone. And then once that's off, I can take the flywheel off and take the gear off behind it, because behind this is a big sprocket which is linked through a chain to the starter motor, so that's what cranks the engine to get it all up and running. Once I've got that off, I can take these plates off. So this plate here, I can take that out, replace the gaskets front and back of that, and then get the covers all back on, fill it with oil, and get this thing up and running. So yeah, that's the plan. I've got one of those tools on order, £15 off of eBay. Fingers crossed it'll do the trick, and then we can start moving forwards again. So yeah, apologies for the letdown this weekend. I was quite excited to try and get this thing up and running, but these are the sort of things you run into with projects like this. You can't account for everything. In other news, as you can probably see above my head, I've now got lights in the workshop, so no more having to film in the dark. It's not a very nice day today. It's wet and it's grey and it's horrible, but it's nice and light in here. You can see everything. It's all nice and clear. Yeah. So that's probably going to be about it today. Apologies for it not being a very interesting video. If you can find a reason to subscribe in this, that would be great. If not, watch some of the earlier ones. They're much better than this one. So yeah, don't forget, like, subscribe, tell all your friends and family. It's coming up to Christmas as well, so you might want to subscribe them to the channel as well. That they'd be really appreciative of that. That'd be an awesome present for them. Failing that, I'll see you next week. Cheers.